Hello architects and welcome back to another RPG Architect tutorial. My name is Bert and today it's game over, man. Game over. We are going to be setting up some defeat conditions for our party. Now last week we worked on enemy skills and getting them fighting back, but if you remember the hero party was not getting knocked down. They were, we got the game over sequence, but it just would lock up and loop on the end there. So let's take care of that now today. Jump into your database. We actually already have a lot of the pieces set up. If you remember, we have our status effect set up for our heroes. We have a battle pose called collapse that we set up a while ago. So this is what should display when our heroes get knocked out. This is a really easy setup. So we have the battle pose in place. We have the status effect hero KO in place. Go to hero KO, scroll down to battle pose, use custom battle pose, and set as collapse. Okay, easy peasy. I'm actually going to scroll up here too. We're going to set the priority here for hero KO. We're going to set this to 1. This is basically that means that this status effect will take place over any other. So if your hero is defending and they get knocked out, then the defending ends, knocked out overrides it. Okay. We also, if you look down below here, there's a prevented targeting type area. We have the different tabs here, the different options. We want to go to skills, and we basically want to determine what skills cannot be used whenever a player is knocked out. Really, we want all of these. Maybe except for item. You want maybe flee. I don't know. It depends on how you set your flee up. We'll just take item and flee off. But basically, I don't want the enemies to target or attack my players whenever they are knocked out, because that will just look silly. I don't want the players to be able to target the knocked out characters either. The exception, I have cure also checked, but if you had a revive spell, you would want to leave that open because that's exactly what you would want it for, right? So just something to keep in mind there. Set the skills up that you don't want to use on knocked out heroes, right? Okay, so pretty easy peasy. And if you don't remember, we had our enter conditions for knockout up here set already. HP is less than or equal to 0. So yeah, should be good to go there. Everything else we had set up before. If you want to set up a battle log message, you can, but that really is all we need for this one. Next up, let's head over to battle configurations because we got a couple things we're going to set here. If you remember last week when we got KO'd, we had a song play, and if you don't remember, this is where you set it up right here under audio, defeat music. That plays the initial jingle that will play upon loss, right? And we're gonna go, I'm pointing that out because I'm gonna do something here in a minute, but up here in the top right, you'll see there is the defeat tab here. If we click on that, then any script we put in here is what will happen upon defeat. So a real simple approach would be to go right click, go down to scene, game over. This will trigger our game over scene, which you can define over here on the left at the very bottom under system. There's the game over tab. Now the game over tab, we're going to click on that. This is where you define what menu is brought up when you get game over, what background music is played when you get game over. Should we skip a game over screen? That's mainly for debugging and stuff like that. Should we reset the game data? You can set up the background color. You can set up enter and exit transitions, but yeah. So when you call that game over script up here, that scene is determined with your settings in here, right? I want to go just a little bit further with it. So we do need to set up a couple of user interfaces. I'm not going to go crazy with them. You guys know how I would do, but we are going to go into user interface. Let's set up 2. We're going to call this first one game over. You can call it enter or initial or just even game over. And then we're having another one called game over menu. I'm going to set the menu up to as a menu, and I think I'm just going to leave this one as an overlay. We are going to fade in with the overlay. It's going to take, I don't know, let's take 5 seconds, so 5,000 milliseconds there. And then I'm going to use the exit transition. I'm going to keep it instant because I want it to fade in on this scene we're about to set up and then instantly transition over to our game over scene here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm just going to set up a basic game over text on this, on like a black background is really all I'm doing. Okay, just something basic like that. So really I have this overlay that just says game over. I want this to fade in when the party gets knocked out, and then when we transition to our game over scene, it will be this. Now our transitions on these menus, like I said, for the enter one, I just have it fade in for like 5 seconds, and then the exit transition is instant, and then for the menu here, the transition is instant, and then I can actually just do fade out for the exit. Let me go over to our game over scene here. The menu, we're going to define it as game over menu, and then the transition, this is probably a little redundant, but we'll set instant there and then fade out here. That's fine. I'm not sure which one prioritizes or which one takes precedent over the other one, but this is fine. I'm actually going to set another song as well. I will do a 16-bit song, this past, present, future one. That's a nice little peaceful song. But then let's go back to our battle configuration and our defeat scene here. So when we are defeated, what we're going to do is open an overlay, and we're going to use game over enter, and then we're going to set up a control flow wait, and I'm going to do, about 11 seconds. I think that's roughly how long the song is, and then we will transition over to the game over. I'm actually going to uncheck this. This is actually use scene transition. That is most likely the settings you have here. That actually makes sense. So if you want to use these settings, you probably leave use scene transition on, but if you want to use the settings in the user interface, you probably just uncheck that. So I'll just uncheck it, it's fine. But yeah, that should do it. So now our party, when they get KO'd, they will have the collapsed animation, and when we get game over, all this should trigger. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if I did it all correctly. Okay, we've got 3 enemies here. Hero is knocked out. We're going to defend with the healer. So she'll enter her defense pose, and that way you'll see that the collapse pose will override. Okay, so she didn't get quite knocked out. Okay, these 2 are knocked out, so they're in their collapse pose. Keep it going, defend. She collapses, and then this game over screen fades in. And then we have this other little song that kicks on, and we have our options here. Okay? Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I like that song. I gotta stop because I like that song a lot. But anyway, that should do it for that. I hope that helped. I hope that made sense. Obviously, you can get a lot prettier with your game over screen than I did. But hey, now we have enemies attacking. We have heroes collapsing. The battle system is really coming along. So we still have some polish that we need to do. We still got some fine tuning, some fine adjustments we can make. But hey, we are getting there. So I hope that helped. Thank you so much for watching. If you did indeed like this video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe below. If you have not picked up your copy of the RPG Architect yet, please do so. We are still in early access, but there's a ton you can do with it. You are absolutely able to create a full game with the engine as is. We are just polishing right now. It's just a big polishing phase. We are making sure everything is running as smoothly as possible. But you can absolutely make a full game as the engine stands right now. So grab it while it is in early access. You will not be disappointed. And if you enjoy my commentary, my tutorials, if you've enjoyed my music and you would like some more to use in your game, please consider supporting me over at patreon.com/bitbybitsound. You get access to over 500 songs to use in your projects. Not too shabby for the cost there, for the low price that is offered. So if you would like to support me further, that is one of the best ways, over at patreon.com/bitbybitsound. Okay? All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have been amazing. I have been Bert, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.